Gave up 30 paint points in the first half. We gave up way too many of those paint points to pick and roll ball handlers. Like, there's no reason for us to let the person with the ball get all the way to the basket. That's not how we're trying to defend. I thought the team obviously made a great adjustment at halftime. We looked at a few things as a group, and we were able to give up 12 paint points the entire second half. Transition, Washington plays incredibly fast. I thought the fourth quarter, obviously giving up 0 transition points was massive, but overall the game for us really came down to our ability to protect the paint as a group in the second half. Offensively, I feel like the team continues to try to move the ball and play together. 29 assists tonight. Obviously, Jordan had a big night for us, with 38 points. I'm honestly more proud of his 10 rebounds than his 38 points, if I'm being very honest with you guys. Colin had a great night as well. I thought John's activity all night, continuing to be relentless on the glass, even the ones he didn't get, was fantastic for us. So it's a good team win. Clearly, some injuries that happened during the game. Keontae goes out, Taylor goes out. We're gonna, check on their status after the game and see how they respond tomorrow. So we ended up having a lot of lineups out there that maybe no one in this room, myself included, had imagined until we were put in that situation. So, credit to the team. I also do want to shout out Johnny Juzang. I thought he played 20 rock solid minutes. Johnny's worked really hard since he got with us last year. He's a guy who probably hasn't gotten enough opportunity based on roster and timing and health and a variety of things. But I can say without question, Johnny's worked incredibly hard for the last year and a half, and he's really improved. And so I was happy for him tonight to really step in and give us 20 very productive minutes, and he really helped us win.
What did you think of Collins after the buzzer dunk?
I just heard about that, seriously, 30 seconds before I walked in here. I haven't seen it yet. The way it was described to me, it sounds like something Colin would do. Somebody back there said it would have won the dunk contest. Yeah, I need to watch that. Honestly, I was told that on the way out of the locker room. I was clearly not paying attention to Colin.
When you do get those units, what are you looking for? If you have a group that's never played together, what do you hope to see?
I mean, that's where I have to do my best to simplify it as much as possible. But ultimately, I just am hoping and expecting that they still try to play as a group, and we just take what is in front of us. If you're open, shoot. If you're not, pass. And I thought that for the most part, the spacing was clean and guys made quick decisions. I thought some of just the very simple spread pick and roll stuff we were running with Jordan, the ball moved. I thought a variety of guys made some great passes to the corner, gave us opportunities to shoot and drive closeouts. So I think in those moments, I'm looking for everything to be simplified. And it starts with me and kind of filters into the team. And I think if we can do a good job of keeping those moments simple, it gives them the best opportunity to not overthink and just sort of play to their strengths. I try not to make it too much about picking on one thing and overcomplicating things where it's going to require a ton of communication amongst the group. I think there's some things that kind of every guy on the team works on all the time from a spacing standpoint and a read standpoint. And so in those moments, I think we just try to keep it as simple as possible.
When you have a first half defensively like you did tonight, what do you kind of focus on at halftime in terms of trying to change things or trying to focus on this specifically? I know you mentioned the transition defense, but how do you get that kind of turnaround rolling as you come out of the break?
I think the biggest thing is facing it at halftime. We never want to beat the team over the head with a ton of film and kicking and screaming, but there's moments where you have to just bluntly say, like, this is unacceptable, and you show some video clips and the guys see it and it's glaring. And I'll give our team a lot of credit. Like, they allow myself and our staff to coach them hard, to tell them the blunt and honest truth. People in that locker room don't make excuses. They take it for what it is. We're all trying to win. And they respond. So I think the biggest thing we can do is not dance around it, not make excuses as a staff or as a team. It's just like, this is what's happening right now. And this is not the standard we want to play to. And I thought the team responded very well.
I know you guys have played in arenas against non-playoff teams that have been pretty empty. Does this crowd ever surprise you?
No, at this point, no. I don't know how many straight sellouts it is now. It was 270 something last time I looked.
281 now.
281?
282. It's still gone.
I mean, it's not surprising. I'm just sad we couldn't get them free chicken tonight, honestly.
A question about something you said pregame. You were talking about how that it's critical if you're going to grow as a player to be able to get consistent minutes. So, how difficult does that make that for someone like Luka, right? Who's not going to get those consistent minutes?
Yeah, it's hard. It's where as a coach you never feel great, because you develop relationships with everybody in the locker room. You see how hard they work, and you just can't play everyone. So yeah, for Luka, it is hard. I think, sort of to what I was saying to Ben, like, but that also makes it that when Luka does play, let's really try to simplify the things that he's focused on. Like, how do we define success for a player? How do we define, like, playing a quote-unquote good game? And if we can strip it back for people that are in Luka's position, like, hey, I haven't played a ton, now I'm going to get a bunch of minutes. Like, okay, well, don't feel like you have to do what Lowry does. Like, these are the things that would make tonight successful for you. And generally it's the things that we're coaching those guys on every day. Like, I didn't expect coming into tonight for Luka to score 27 points. That would have been amazing. But that doesn't define him playing a good game. And I think that's where what happens statistically sometimes is misleading, because it's not always necessarily reflective of, like, a person doing their job. And so, yeah, Luka's in a really hard spot. Like, Luka, Omer has had times this year where, the New Orleans games here, we had some injuries and Omer starts. And then all of a sudden he doesn't play for a while and continues to work really hard. I thought he had some good minutes against Miami. Like, he's just trying to stay ready best he can. And, yeah, it's one of the toughest parts of this business is seeing players that are really good basketball players on an NBA roster, and they're just not getting a chance for reasons that sometimes are outside of their control.
With Keontae, obviously kind of was on the fringes of playing throughout the day. When did you guys kind of decide, or did he decide that he could go and then found out that he couldn't, or kind of how did that unfold today?
Yeah, I mean, we try not to make decisions at 9 o'clock in the morning when it's 50-50, because I think if you asked every player on the team how they feel at 9 a.m., it's usually not great. So, we went through the day. He got progressively better as the day went on. He came here, he did his pregame workout, and, our sentiment and our conversation with him was go through your pregame workout like you normally would, and if you feel like you're capable of going, great, and if not, don't. He gave us all indications that he was good to go, and then he wasn't. So we just have to do what's best for him and for us. Similar to what happened with Taylor. Like, he had an injury that, we want to make sure that Taylor's healthy. So, yeah, we're never going to force anybody to play. It's always a conversation between us and the player to figure out kind of where they're really at, how confident they are and how they feel, because that may be the most important thing, like the player's confidence in their body, like, and can they go perform, or is it going to be something that they're constantly thinking about while they're out there?
Thank you.
Thanks.